Hello everyone and welcome to AFC Game by Game. We all know what time of the week it is. Arsenal coming up against Bournemouth this Saturday. A game that if I said I was looking forward to, well, quite frankly, I'd be lying to you. After that performance against Liverpool, after the conclusion of Arsenal's transfer window, it is really difficult to get psyched up for this game. It's a match that I think is going to be very difficult. Eddie Howe's side are putting some very resolute performances this season. Haven't really got the points I think their performances have deserved. A team that went 3 goals up against us at their home ground last campaign. A team that certainly can't be underestimated. But from an Arsenal point of view, to not collect 3 points at home to AFC Bournemouth is nothing short of unacceptable. And following that result against Stoke, following that performance against Liverpool, we've got to be going out with all guns blazing in this match. I don't want to see a scrappy Arsenal 1 or 2-0 win. I want to see a resolute, I want to see a dynamic Arsenal performance in this game. I want to see something that's going to get me excited for this season after seeing that performance against Stoke, maybe we were unfortunate, but that performance against Liverpool just completely deflated me. Questions have to be raised. Why was Oxlade-Chamberlain playing in that game after he'd had a bust up with Arsene Wenger, after he knew that he was leaving Arsenal Football Club? Why was Hector Bellerin played at left back? Things like this that just completely confuse me. And going into this game against Bournemouth, first of all, lineup's got to be bang on if we're going to get anything out of this game. If we go in with a team that was as all over the place as it was against Liverpool, then I don't think we stand a chance in this game. But more importantly, we have to be up for this game character-wise. The motivation within the team is awful. We know we've got players now. David Ornstein has come out today, if his comments are to be believed. Mustafi wants out, Hector Bellerin wants out, Alexis Sanchez wants out, Oxlade-Chamberlain wanted out and got out. So it just shows that there's a severe lack of harmony at Arsenal Football Club at the minute. And you could have the best 11 players in the world, but if they're not happy at the club they're playing for, then their ability isn't going to be reflected on the pitch. It's vital that we see these players putting in good performances, and hopefully if we can get a win, then we can get Bellerin, get Mustafi, etc. back on side of Arsenal Football Club. All it takes is a couple of wins and things can change like that. So I'm hoping that we get a win against Bournemouth. I hope we get a convincing win, and then after that we've got the Europa League coming up, followed by a game away from home at Stamford Bridge. So if we don't pick up maximum points in this game, then it's really going to leave us in murky water going into that game against Chelsea. It's going to be an awful position to be in. They're starting to come into some form now. So let's focus on what's in front of us. Let's get this win against Bournemouth. It's going to be tricky, as I say, but I think just in terms of getting the fans back on side, if we go 1-0 down, it's going to be absolutely awful at the Emirates. It's going to be toxic, and that's a word that we've used a lot, and even more so given how the transfer window concluded. Absolute shambles how things came to an end there with everything that went on with Alexis Sanchez, with there being no real replacement coming in for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. I think we've still got a group of players that can go out there and do well this season. I don't think we've got a team capable of winning the Premier League. That's me being brutally honest. I still think we're quite a way off challenging. I definitely think we need another central midfielder. I definitely think that we possibly need another winger if we're going to go back to a back four at some point. And on our right flank, we definitely look very vulnerable. We haven't got an out-and-out replacement for Hector Bellerin at the moment. Maybe that's why we've hung on to Matthew Debussy, God forbid. I'm unsettled going into this season. I really am. The season's already begun, and I don't feel like Arsenal are prepared in the slightest. So it'll be interesting to see how things pan out against Bournemouth. As I say, a group of 11 players. I think we've got a team that's more than capable of getting a win. They've got to be lined up correctly by Arsene Wenger. By that I mean not playing Hector Bellerin at left back, playing our strongest players in the likes of Kolasinac, who has been ironically voted Arsenal's Player of the Month. Playing Lacazette from the start as well. That's a given going into this game. If it's not going to be Lacazette, at least give Olivier Giroud a chance. I don't want to see Danny Welbeck playing as the out-and-out striker for Arsenal this season. I love Danny Welbeck, but he's got to be playing in the two behind the striker, got to be playing on the flank. For me, he's not got the capabilities, he's not got the finishing to be playing in this game. One player that I think has got a very good shout to be starting this match, and maybe a lot of you would criticise me for saying his name, but Jack Wilshere. Been playing for Arsenal's under-23s. I think it's been made quite certain that Arsenal were happy to let him go this summer. Personally, I'm really glad we've kept him, and I'm glad that he's committed. Well, I'd like to say committed his future to the club. He's got 1 year left on his contract, but I'm glad to see he's committed to this season at least. And I would hope that he'd get a game, at least be on the bench for this match against Bournemouth. His previous club, a team that he knows a lot about, having been there. He knows already how he's going to line up. He knows their style of play. Could be very useful for us in this game. And Arsenal, I think, we've got a lot of different options in terms of how we line up for these kind of matches. We could go back to a back four. We could play Bellerin, Mustafi, Koscielny and Kolasinac as the back four. Very dynamic, very strong, very pacey back line. I do worry slightly about Mustafi, given that we do know how vocal his agent, how vocal David Ornstein in fact is being about how much he wanted to leave the club supposedly. But I still think that's a very good back four, and it's a case of getting Mustafi back on side for me. He was a very good player for us last season. It's going to take him a season to bed in. I think he will prove to be a useful addition to this team after a year of being here. He certainly should be. Midfield, I think it's going to be Jacko and Ramsey. I know a lot of people are certainly not up for that, but I think that's what it's going to be. I think that's got to be our strongest midfield this season. It was absolutely appalling against Liverpool. There's no getting away from that, but as was the rest of the team. Right back, right wing back, if we're going with the back three, which I presume I will, it's got to be Hector Bellerin. Then on the left, Kolasinac. And then behind the striker, Mesut Ozil, Alexis Sanchez, and then leading the line, Alexandre Lacazette. Again, a lot of players in that team that possibly don't want to be there. Mesut Ozil, we don't know if he's leaving the club. Alexis Sanchez, we don't know if he's leaving the club. Alexandre Lacazette has only just joined the club and already he's being dropped for big games away from home at Anfield. Bellerin, Mustafi, the list goes on about players that don't necessarily want to play for Arsenal. So it's going to be interesting to see how this group of players play, how they connect. And this time next year, we could be looking at Arsenal falling apart. It's been quite nice having the international break, not having to watch Arsenal this weekend. But as I say, let's not make it all doom and gloom, because I've got to look at it positively. If we can get something out of this game, if we can win it 2 or 3-0, then all those bad emotions will be put to one side until we go and lose at Chelsea, until we win at Chelsea. Yeah, looking forward to these games coming up. It should be an exciting couple of weeks, in fact. But let's just hope that Arsene Wenger gets the lineup spot on, because all of this nonsense aside, with Stan Kroenke, with Ivan Gazidis, with how the transfer window has gone for Arsenal, it's gone appallingly, but let's not get into that. It's all about those 11 players that go out on the pitch, and Arsene Wenger has got to line them up in the right formation, got to line them up in the right system. If we're going to play a back four, then he's got to get that right. If he plays a back three, got to get that right. I don't want to see Kolasinac. I don't want to see, even Monreal playing at centre back anymore. I want to see a back three of centre backs. Let's just get that spot on. Let's bring Mertesacker back into the side. Why not? He was brilliant there in the cup final against Chelsea. Yes, he's going to be a sort of backup option for us this season, but at home to Bournemouth. What's wrong with a back three of Mustafi, Mertesacker and Koscielny? That'd be a brilliant back three for me for this kind of game. Bellerin and Kolasinac as the wing backs, Jacko, Ramsey, Ozil, Alexis and Lacazette. As I say, not the most harmonious team, but a team that should be able to get 3 points at home to Bournemouth. But we need to see a performance that goes along with those 3 points, hopefully. But let's not take this game for granted. Given the way Arsenal are going, Bournemouth will look at this game and they will think that they're playing us at the right time, which they definitely are. It's going to be a tricky game, but hopefully Arsenal can get the job done and restore some faith, my faith in this team, because it's been a difficult one. Anyway, guys, please do let me know your team lineups in the comments box below. Please do drop a like on this video if you have enjoyed it. Subscribe to AFC Game by Game, and as always, I'll be speaking to you very, very soon.